All right, today I am walking y'all through the genius income blueprint, right? Because for two reasons. One, for anyone that's trying to figure out how to increase sales, if you implement any part of my 5-step process, and I've been teaching this over the years, and then I teach components of this, right? That's one part. And then the other part is for all y'all that have been following stepping into your genius, zone of genius, all the things. Genius has to produce income, right? Otherwise, it's just this really cool potential that you have that you don't know what to do with it. And I hate, I'm one of those people. I love self help books. I love business books, but I hate the fact that they get you to a point of like, okay, well, this is my thing, or this is the idea, this is the business, this is a career, but then what do I do with it, right? And so they don't teach you the how of how to implement it, and then how it ultimately turns into massive income and impact for you. And so I want to break that down, right? And so the Genius Income Blueprint stands for generate, elevate, nurture, increase, upgrade, and then stimulate, right? And if you implement any one part of this process, and there's drastically see more sales, more conversions. I'm going to talk to you about like how to Netflix your business and things like that. And so the first part of that is generate, right? And so we all know you cannot have a business if you do not have leads, right? People that are actually interested in what you were selling. And I always talk about Yolanda Cash Jackson, hey, everybody, who told me years ago when I was struggling to sell something to government, actually, when I was running Center for Black Innovation, really cool program we had. And I was just like nobody in government gets it. Like, this is amazing. This is going to help them. And she's like, are you selling what they're buying? I was like, no, I could not hear her words at the time. And she kept saying to me, are you selling what they're buying? And I was just like, I think I am. She's like, you need to know that you are, right? And so getting leads is about solving problems, knowing what their problem is, because no matter what you're presenting to them, your presentation, your sales pitch will never be bigger than their problems. And so you have to align with their problem first, know what it is, make sure that you align with it, that you actually have a solution to their problem, and then your solution solves their problem as fast as possible. That's part of it, right? But generating leads and making yourself more findable for the people that are already looking for you is the first part of the Genius Income Blueprint. And so for many of us, and a lot of us, some of us that are joining, you have an idea, you've launched the product, and then you are struggling to get leads, right? Some of us are hiding in plain sight. I know I did that at one point. And in order to get more leads, you got to do more lead generating things, right? Generating leads. And so some of us, and some that are watching right now, your business will catapult if you get in front of more people that are interested in what you're selling. It's not enough to just build something with your head down and say the people will come. That whole thing, whatever, was it Jerry Maguire, whatever movie that is, it build it and they will come. That's not how that works anymore. And there's too many tools that make it too easy for you to be findable, that you just got to show up in those mediums, right? And so if you generate more leads, how do you generate more leads, right? Somebody should be asking me that in the comments. How do you generate more leads? Making yourself more findable for people that are looking for you. Is that getting more press and getting media outlets that have hundreds and thousands and millions of listeners and viewers that are responsive to whatever they showcase and are responsive in their attention and their dollars, the eyeballs on you. That is what we had to do a lot with Feverish Pops, right? We had a long list of all the no's. My husband and I started our food business, and our partner Joe, like when we started our food business, we had a long list of all the things that you should not do, or the positions you should not be in when we started the business. And so we had zero. When I said we had $0 to barely start the business, let alone market the business. And so we had to figure out, how do we get leads coming in? There's a few things that we did, right? And so one, we found and put ourselves on sites that generated leads for us, right? Like the whole purpose of those sites at the time were to bring in leads. You think of And that website back in the day was called mypartyplanner.com. I don't even know if it exists anymore, but it was really helpful for us because it was the destination online that ranked really high in SEO. They got all people that were planning events, planning parties, were coming to that looking for trusted vendors. And so not only did we just have a listing on there, but we paid the extra fee. And I think it was maybe like 75 to $100, which was a lot for us at the time. But we realized the only way to break out against all the noise is we had to have a premium listing. So we paid for the premium listing on that site, and that started generating leads for us. What else helped? Media helped, right? Y'all know I'm always talking about Haro. I am not paid by Haro. I literally pay Haro, even though I don't check it all the time as much as I used to. But Help a Reporter Out was a way for us to connect with journalists that were on short deadlines, that were writing for major publications. And by being featured in those publications, people seeked us out, picked up the phone, and they called us, to the point where, like, sometimes when we got featured on stuff, the phone would ring off the hook. It helped us generate more leads, right? And so if you make that one shift in your business, but that's, social media, like, come on, y'all, like, social media, partnerships, right? Can you partner with someone who has an audience but does not have the product that you have? Right? They have an audience, they do not have a product. They have an audience, they don't know how to monetize the product. They have an audience, and you guys can do a 50-50 split in partnership or affiliate or whatever it is. But that is going to help you generate leads. When they say something, when they pitch something, like, it generates leads for you. My good friend Starks, like, Hungry Black Man, when when we used to go to restaurants with him, I would literally tell people, like, yo, get ready. And they wouldn't believe us, right? Because it wasn't the big fancy cameras that him and the team were bringing in, and that would generate leads. So are there local bloggers or food bloggers or tech bloggers or parenting bloggers or health and beauty bloggers or healthcare bloggers, like, whatever your industry is, are there experts in your space that have a huge audience that don't have a product like the product that you have, that you can partner with it? Why? Because you're going to generate some money for them, and you are going to exponentially grow your leads. And so the first part of the Genius Income Blueprint is generating more leads. If you can generate more leads, right? Maybe you have 10 leads coming in a week right now in whatever it is that you do. And this isn't just for entrepreneurs. This is for people that work in corporations that are in sales position. You got to generate leads, right? And so if you have 10 leads coming in, and maybe you convert, 50% of those. If you increase the number of leads, so you go from 10 leads coming in a week to 20 leads coming in a week, and you're converting at 50%, you now are going from converting 5 people a week to converting 10 people a week. You see how easy that math? See, the math is mathing, right? And so partnerships, media opportunities, social media, y'all know I preach speaking all the time. Why? Because it's a captivated audience of your true buyers. And oftentimes, if they paid a ticket to go to a conference, especially if they paid a few $100s to go to a conference, then they are usually premium buyers. And I'm going to talk about finding and attracting premium buyers in just a bit, because it's another part of the Genius Income Blueprint. But being able to get in front of a captive audience that in a lot of ways is pre-selected, that they want to be there, that they want to receive and hear that information. More than anything, you being on that stage is literally position you as the expert, the top person, and they're giving you their undivided attention and listening to whatever you have to say. You got to kill the presentation, you got to kill the keynote or kill the workshop, but then you also enact the theory of reciprocity, right? And the theory of reciprocity, I usually have that book up there, but is a principle inside the book of The Psychology of Influence by Robert Cialdini. And that means if you do something for someone, it is literally human nature that they feel like they need to return the favor to you in some sort of capacity. And from a sales and product and service standpoint, that usually means buying whatever you were selling. And so by giving them your time, your message, your expertise, by doing a workshop, being on stage, doing a fireside chat, doing a podcast, doing an interview, doing an Instagram live, and enacts that theory of reciprocity. And the most immediate thing is they want to figure out how to repay the favor because you've just done something for them, right? And so that's one part of it. The other part of it is literally selling to your audience, right? Someone else who organized the event, organized the conference, whatever it is, has gathered, tens, 15, 20, hundreds, thousands of people that are your core audience. Why wouldn't you want to speak to your core audience over the course of 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour? You now can indoctrinate them into whatever the thought process you need them to have in order to be your customer, and then work on converting them from there, right? And so that's the G part of Genius Income Blueprint. The E part is elevate, right? And so you have to elevate your lead conversion and convert more leads into customers. And so we talked about having the leads and increasing your leads, right? And now it's like increasing the conversion of your leads. And so if you get 100 leads in a week or 100 leads in a month, but you're only converting 1% of them, right? Or you're only converting 10% of them, if you can work on increasing your conversion rate, so you go from that same 100 leads that you are currently have, but you figure out a process to convert more of them. Maybe that's a better follow-up process. Maybe that's a better copy on your website. Maybe that is training whoever's in charge of sales or marketing or partnerships on your team and making them convert more. Just by converting, right? Just by converting from, increasing your conversion from 10% to 20%, or from 20% to 30%, or from 25% to 50%, automatically doubles your business, right? Doubles the conversion of whatever your product is that you're selling. Those are just two moves that you can make. You can make either one of those moves, and y'all let me know if y'all picking up what I'm putting down, right? And so if you can convert, if you change either one of those things, right? Generating more leads or converting the leads, more of the leads that you currently have coming in, is going to drastically change the income that you're bringing in, the revenue that you're bringing in for your business. Hold on, someone. Thank you for fire. I have a bunch of big meetings today, but I wanted to walk through this because I've been getting a lot of questions. And how do you generate more leads when you suck at speaking in front of people? Great question. And then I'm going to go to end because I have an 11 o'clock. So I want to make sure I get through all of this for y'all. There's two things that you can do, right? You can get better at speaking, because it's really hard to run a business if you don't have a good command of language, right? Most of us feel that we suck at speaking or we suck at sales because all we think about are the grimy, slimy sales experiences that we've had with other people trying to sell to us that did not have the right level of skill set when they were selling to us, and they made us feel really icky in the situation, right? But we don't think about all the things that were really great sales processes for us. Think about what you're wearing today, right? Like, I bought this online. I love it. It's a jumpsuit, so it'll make it real hard when you got to go to the bathroom. But my glasses were a great sales experience for me, right? I bought them online. I hate going into the store to buy glasses, right? I like big glass. Like my haircut was a buying experience, right? My lipstick was a buying experience. That was a great experience. And oftentimes we never remember the great sales experiences that we go through. Why? Because it was a great sales experience. It was seamless, right? There was no friction. How does that happen, right? That comes with someone being skilled, or someone creating a really great seamless process so you get exactly what you want. Most time when you are having a conversation with someone, they've already made up their mind that they want to buy. You either mess that up or you help them along that process, right? And I'll find some time to go into some deeper sales training. I have a 3-day challenge coming up around monetizing your genius and really breaking this income, Genius Income Blueprint down with very actionable steps. Sign up for that, right? MonetizeYourGeniusChallenge.com. I go deeper into that. But think about removing and kind of washing away the ickiness that you feel and just have a human conversation with people. A human conversation. You are a human, I'm a human. You can slow down that sales process at any time. You can slow down that pitch process at any time as well, right? And so what I said is you can work on building better speaking and communication skills, because at the end of the day, no one can sell your thing better than you do. You can bring in the best experts at all times. I've studied under Eli Wild, who was like a 9-figure salesperson for Tony Robbins, right? And Eli is phenomenal. Like, I love training under him. But he still, at the end of the day, could not sell better than Tony Robbins, right? Because it was Tony Robbins' thing. You get what I'm saying? And so there's a passion, and we've all been through that, right? You walk into a restaurant, you walk into someplace, and you ask a question, and you can tell when it's the owner answering you, especially if they're having a good day. Sometimes they have a bad day, right? But a lot, like, I was in Tulsa at a coffee shop, and they had like these different African beans, coffee beans that were on the menu. And my husband was asking this question, and the girl really didn't know. She was like trying to answer the question, and then all of a sudden this voice from the back said, like, the beans are from this and that and that. And like, before I even turned around, I'm like, that's the owner, right? There was a passion and a knowledge that exuded out of this person. They weren't like feeling apprehensive about speaking. They were just knowledgeable, right? And they wanted to help us make a buying decision, and answering that question, intelligently was a part of the buying decision, right? And so the other part, just breathe. Breathing is a part of the sales process as well, and getting more comfortable. And then more than anything, if it's a pain point for you that stands in the way of you and your millions in your business, like, figure out a way. There's Toastmasters, there's going live every day. Like, y'all, if you go back a year from now, you would barely see any lives, right? I hated going live, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And when I finally realized that it's the fact that when I speak to people, I love the immediate interaction with people, right? When you're speaking to someone live, or even when you're on a Zoom, you can actually see people. You see their faces, you see their expressions, you see if they're vibing with you or not. You have a 2-way conversation, a 3-way conversation. And when I realized that was the thing that made going live really weird for me, then I said, you know what? And I was talking to someone earlier, I'm like, I'm going to do a 30-day challenge, and I'm going to go live every single day so that I can build up a comfort level and a style that works for me, right? And I did that. So now I go live all the time. I don't have a problem going live, right? I know how to prepare to go live. I know why. I know the intention around it, right? And so that is something that I had to work on. It wasn't something that I even needed to do, but it was something that I wanted to do in order to get better and to remove the uneasiness. It could be poetry. I used to do spoken word poetry long ago. Don't look for none of those videos, right? And that helped me, because prior to that, I was an absolute wallflower, right? My introvertedness oozed out of me. You could smell it, you could see it, you could feel it. And that process of getting up on a small, intimate stage, when I finally built up the courage to do that, and working through content, and then getting on bigger stages, and getting in front of other audiences, and pouring your heart out in your words in your poetry book, like, that is where I got my 10,000 hours that made me much more comfortable delivering messages, or delivering a message, and then putting words together, putting emotion together, putting feelings, and then being able to help people along a transformation and a journey, right? And so find the small stage, find whatever you can to work through, helping you generate more leads by being much more comfortable speaking. Anyways, I've gone off on a tangent. Y'all know I will go off on a tangent real quick. All right, so let me get back to someone said repeat the question. I forgot what the question was, but let me get back to it. Yes, Mario goes live all the time, right? And so and there's a G in this space, an absolute G, and G for genius, right? And live prepares you for TV interviews, podcasts, interview. It prepares you for everything. It even prepares you just to have better conversations with one-on-one, right? Sometimes I go live because I have a big meeting coming up, and I want to just like exercise like my my thoughts to the words that are coming out of my mouth, right? I want to go through vocal exercises. I want to work out some of the things that I'm getting ready to say. Like sometimes I go live for that reason as a preparation. If I haven't spoken on a stage or done a presentation in a while live, sometimes I'll go live and work through that content and just get the muscle memory back in my body before I do anything. And so practice as much as you possibly need to. In sometimes you need to practice in a vacuum first, but then at some point you gotta just do it if it's the thing that you really want and you know it's the thing that's holding you back. And so I'm going to make it a point. Okay. All right. Let me get back. All right. So we went through generate, right? It was about generating lead, elevating your leads and converting them and converting more leads into customers. And if you just increase your conversion rate in your sales process, like that could double, triple, quadruple your business. And again, you can do any 5 of these things along the Genius Income Blueprint. But if you do one of these things, man, things are going to be crazy. All right. And so and the end part of the Genius Income Framework is nurture, right? And so being able to increase the retention of your customers, taking better care of your customers, re-engaging them more often. How does the song go? It's cheaper to keep her. Y'all know what? It's cheaper to keep your current clients, especially if they're good clients and good customers. And then you are not constantly on this wheel of trying to find the next new person. Of course, you always want people coming in because you have a sales cycle, but how can you increase the lifetime value of the current customer that you have? Many people don't focus on that, right? And so what are the things that you can do? Ask yourself to re-engage your current customers, right? Re-engage a customer that you had the year before. Again, when we ran our food business, and I feel like I don't talk enough on live about the 7 years that Derek and I had a food business, because it was straight guerrilla marketing. It was starting something from absolutely nothing. It was using the last bit of our savings to buy 2 carts off the luxury shopping website Craigslist. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And literally pedaling our way to like frozen dessert success. And we learned, I cut my chops, right? Learned some of the hardest lessons about entrepreneurship and some of the best lessons about getting really creative with limited resources in that process, right? And what we started to realize is like we were getting new customers in, but we weren't doing a good job of re-engaging the customers that we had in the past. And so if we did an event for a wedding, right, a year from now, well, they're going to celebrate their anniversary. And if they loved us and our ice cream and our desserts that we brought in for their wedding when they booked us at their most important day, don't you think that they would want some sort of reminder or momentum for their anniversary? So why would we only engage that customer at that one point, which was their most important day? But why, like every year, we should be re-engaging that customer and reminding them, right, of like that special moment. And there was all these things that we would pitch to them, but we kept a calendar, right, of anniversary events. All right, like, hey, West Elm was a client of ours, and we had a Fortune 500 client that made most people's heads spin as a gourmet popsicle manufacturing company that also produced alcohol pops. Right, it was a time in Miami. Google, PayPal, when Airbnb first launched in Miami, they were a client of ours. Tom Cruise was a client of ours. Right, West Elm, Whole Foods, like Aveeno lotion, I can go on and how we figured out this really unique niche within the space. But I learned a lot about, NLP, neural language processing in that process. Learned a lot about sales. I learned a lot about myself in the process. Some of the stuff that I teach in the Genius Income Blueprint comes from those early days of realizing like, hey, we didn't want to just sell one at a time at a park or in a corner store. Like we wanted to sell hundreds and thousands at a time. And so we had to reevaluate everything that we did in that business and how we sold and how we re-engaged and how we nurtured clients. But more than anything, how we turn a customer from a $3 product, right? A $3 to $5 product was our range, into someone that was spending, $350 to $450 for a 1 hour event where we would bring the truck or the cart or a team or a cooler or like whatever it was. And so converting people from, a small transaction and increasing the lifetime value by nurturing them was something that we learned in that process, right? And so some of the things that we did is literally putting the anniversary date of whatever engagement it was. And at the 1-year anniversary, 2-year anniversary, we re-engaged that person. And that wasn't sending people coupons. Stop sending people coupons. Especially if you have a premium product, stop sending people coupons, stop giving people discounts. I get so aggravated. And I love a good sale, don't get me wrong, but I get aggravated when people give you a discount before it's even warranted. Why are you discounting your product? You always want to make sure that your product or your service stays high in the mind of the consumer as a premium product, especially if it is a premium product. Not all products are being branded as premium products. Again, all right, so if someone booked us for a birthday party, right? As long as they're alive on this earth, y'all, they're going to have another birthday party. So why wouldn't we engage them again and again and again? I think Chuck E. Cheese, like there's not enough case studies and master classes done on Chuck E. Cheese, right? I remember doing my daughter's birthday party there, I think when she turned 2 or turned 3. And 3 months before her party, Chuck E. Cheese was emailing me like, would you like to come back? We can reserve the same date. We can reserve the same thing. Like their email marketing was on point. And then even the week of, because if they, like me, I'm a late party planner. My friend Kristen and I always joke about that because her parties are elaborate. And I'm just like, cake and ice cream in the backyard. Can we just do that? And so I'm always planning my kid's birthday party. Like, this sounds awful. This sounds awful, but it always turns out fabulous. And even the week of, I think I got an email from Chuck E. Cheese that was just like, if you still haven't like booked a party or last minute planner, it was something like that. Here is, we still have time and dates available. They knew their customer and they knew that if you had a great experience, which is, Chuck E. Cheese is what it is. You have an experience, but more than anything, if you celebrated your birthday last year, you're going to celebrate your birthday again. And let's stay top of mind while you're having this decision or thinking about what to do. And then their process is that it's very easy to do like a last minute birthday situation with them during that week or during that time, right? They know how to nurture their clients so that they are repeat clients. But more than anything, you increase the lifetime value. So if you go from planning the first birthday party for your kid at Chuck E. Cheese, say it's $400, right? That one engagement with that one person is $400. We're not even talking about the acquisition cost that needs to come out of that, of acquiring you as a customer. And then, hey, we send the emails, which don't really cost them anything. And we take you from a $400 client to an $800 client. And then if you have more than one kid, that's easily $800 to $1,000 a year that you're spending. And if we do a good job nurturing and engaging you, you went from an initial $400 client to maybe a $5,000 client because you're repeatedly going to do something that is already happening to you because you're celebrating your birthday every year. And so figure out ways to nurture your clients today, to touch base with them. Another good lesson around nurturing clients, and I did a video on this a while ago about, keeping in contact with people so that when you need them, they don't feel like you only call them because you need them or you need something. Spectacular taught me a phenomenal, yes, that's Spectacular, taught me and my husband a phenomenal lesson around that. And one, he taught us how to like categorize how you save people in your phone so that you have a point of reference. And then you also capture special moments throughout the year, their birthday, if their kid's birthday, their anniversary. Like, dude is super detailed in this. And so what he taught me was, and he spoke at Black Tech Week, the second year of Black Tech Week, and we would stay in contact throughout the year. Mostly he was staying in contact with me, which I thought was just really interesting, staying in contact with my husband as well. And as like tech articles would come up, I would just get a text like, I thought this would be something that you'd be interested in, right? On Mother's Day, I would get a Mother's Day text, right? On my birthday, I would get a birthday. I was like, damn, like this guy is really, and I wasn't implementing or doing any of that stuff. And then when he broke it down for me, he was just like, I keep in contact with everyone throughout the year because of how I categorize them in my phone, which is the same thing you can do with your customers and your clients. And I said, as things pop up that I think would interest them, I just share it with them. There was another guy who I met years ago, old head. He would find interesting clippings in the newspaper and he would mail it to people. Why? So by the time that they actually need you, I need something from you, you don't ever feel like I'm only calling you or contacting you because I need something, because I literally stayed in contact with you throughout the year. I sent you in things that were you would genuinely be interested in without an ask. So when I do have an ask, you're going to pick up the phone because, like, man, like this person remembered my birthday. They don't have to remember my birthday, right? Or this person sent a handwritten note. They don't have to send a handwritten note. Or after events with partners, we always send out as an organization the edible arrangement. It's something that I started with Center for Black Innovation. I kept going with Black Ambition. Why? Because people can make any other decision. They can make any other buying decision. There are buying decisions under the sun. And oftentimes we lose a client just because we don't stay engaged with them and we don't nurture the relationship. Have I always gotten it right? Absolutely not. But I try to not get it wrong anymore, because when you know better, you do better, right? And so nurture is the end part of the Genius Income Framework. So generate, elevate, we're at nurture. And nurturing is all about helping you, is all about increasing the lifetime value of that customer by taking care of that customer. Because as the song goes, and y'all tell me who wrote that song or sung that song, but like, it's cheaper. I want to say it's Otis Redding, and I don't think it's Otis Redding, but like, it's cheaper to keep her, right? It's cheaper to keep your current client by nurturing them. But more than anything, because we're talking about increasing your income by stepping boldly into your genius, right? And actually creating income as a result of your genius. But really thinking about your sales process and your sales cycle. If you just increase the way that you nurture your clients, right? You increase the way that you nurture your clients, you can also drastically increase your income. Most of us just don't follow up with people. And studies have shown that, it takes between the 5th to the 12th engagement when we're selling to someone, from following up with that person, for oftentimes for people to make a buying decision. Well, once someone has already made it a buying decision, right? I think it's called confirmation bias or something like that. They will continue to make that decision. They will continue to go deeper with you because of the initial decision that they made, and also to make sure that they made the best decision for themselves. So they're constantly going to confirm the decision that they made, the initial decision. They'll go deeper with you. And most people just aren't thinking about how much deeper that they can go with their clients or their customers and increase the lifetime value. So nurture is the end part. All right, increase, right? Increase the average spend from customers, AKA raise your prices. And so if you were selling a product for $50, right? You can, if you increase and you have a ton of customers at that price point, you don't have to bring another customer in. But if you increase your pricing from $25 or $50 to $100, you have doubled your revenue just by increasing your price, right? And most people, and studies have shown that people are very comfortable without batting an eye, without too much pushback, with an increase between 10 to 20% on pricing. Why? Because we're in the middle of inflation. Nobody asked our permission to increase the price of eggs. They just increase the price of eggs, right? Like, what you gonna do? You're either gonna eat the eggs or not. You're either gonna shop around or just say, like, I love the quality of these eggs. I understand inflation. I'm gonna continue to be a customer. But most of us forget that our pricing is a part of our brand. Our pricing is a part of our branding, right? And a lot of us have phenomenal products, but we are crying ourselves to sleep at night as entrepreneurs because we are not charging enough for this to be financially viable for us to take care of the team so that we can deliver the product and the service at the quality in which our customers and our clients deserve. And so for many of you, you got to raise your price, right? Deliver at the quality in which you are commanding that price. Of course, that's a given. But a lot of times you can drastically increase your revenue by raising your pricing. Y'all let me know if y'all picking up what I'm putting down, right? By increasing your pricing and thus increasing the average spend of that customer. So nurturing, right, and increasing your pricing really kind of go hand in hand, because you got to be nurturing the current clients and customers that you have, and then be able to raise the price. You can also introduce them to other higher level products within within the products and the services that you sell, right? Apple is a company that's just like that. Like once you are ingrained within the Apple family, and everyone in my family is an Apple product except for my dad, so he's always messing up the group chat. But like they are constantly selling their what is it, their old products to their new customers, and their however it goes. Anyways, they're constantly doing that, right? There's a cycle in which people come in and you really don't kind of leave, right? And so once you get one product, you're gonna buy another product. They realize that once you buy one thing, and I've said this before, and I heard this from my mentor said this to me, like, once you create a solution to a problem for someone, you create 9 or 10 new problems for them. And that's exactly what Apple does. Once you buy one Apple product, you need all the other Apple products. Why? Because, they only have a certain plug, and then your Apple Music and your Apple TV and like all of this stuff, right? And so as entrepreneurs, increasing the average spend of your customers, like there's that part of the process as well. And so how can you increase your pricing? How can you increase the average spend? So a customer comes in and they're constantly buying other things from you to complete the process, right? I have an Apple phone, I have an Apple MacBook, I have an Apple iPad, I can't even remember how many pairs of AirPods that I have. I am so pissed off by AirPods. I'm constantly losing them. I went back to the headphones, but those headphones are $30, right? And I'm going to need a charger, not just for my house, but I'm going to need a charger for my car. I'm going to need a charger for my kid's iPad. That's at least 15 different products that I've probably just rattled off just now. And that's not even inclusive of everything. That's not including my husband's Mac and my husband's Apple mouse trackpad and the Apple speaker that we have. And so they've gone from us buying one product into 20, 30, or 40 products over the course of the lifetime value of us as customers. And so think about not just how do I get a customer in and how do I nurture a customer, but how do I keep solving problems over and over again for this customer, because they bought into my marketing, they bought into our sales, they bought into the ethos of our company, and we can continue to solve problems for them over and over again, but also realizing that as we create new problem, as we solve a problem for them, we create a new problem for them, right? If you have a brush, or if you have shampoo and conditioner for people, which I don't really use that much, right? But if you have shampoo and conditioner for people, like once they wash their hair and they condition their hair, they got to dry their hair, right? And once they dry their hair, they probably got to curl their hair, or brush their hair, right? Or comb their hair or style their hair. They're going to need a mirror. Like the levels in which this keeps going for people in specific industry or in the product that you're serving, there's so many different ways for you to increase the lifetime value of the current customer that you have. And so if you just increase the lifetime value of that person or the average spend of that customer, if you just do that one thing within the Genius Income framework or blueprint, you can drastically increase the revenue and the sales within your business, right? Y'all following me? All right, let me get through these last two because I have 6 minutes before I have to hop on a Zoom. All right, and so then upgrading, right? At some point within your business, and there's different type of customers for different types of businesses, right? Not everyone has to serve everyone at the top. People can serve people at the middle, at the beginning. Not everyone needs to serve the people at the beginning either. Like, I can't stress that enough. That will need to be a whole live within itself. Like, stop doing this. I think God, I can't remember his name with that right now. It starts with an M, but internet marketing guy. He always talks about like this race to the bottom, right? Like when people start businesses, there's this race to serve the people at the very bottom. And then you struggle to meet your revenue goals, and you struggle to, be able to hire and deliver a good product because you're serving the people at the very bottom that cannot afford you or cannot afford your product on an ongoing basis. And then there's all this room in the middle, and there's all this room and potential and income potential at the top. And so at some point, and this is twofold, and I got to finish this up in 4 minutes, but like there's working towards attracting a higher value client and a premium buyer. Some of us start off with the right target market for the product for where we are at the time. And as you expand your offering with your product, as you grow your product, as you enter new markets, you need to reevaluate your target market to even see if that's still the customer that you should be selling to, right? When my husband and I ran Feverish, again, the customer that we wanted to serve at the time, right, we could not serve for the type of product that we were selling. That was a time where people could go into Winn-Dixie or Publix or whatever and buy a whole box of popsicles for $3. We were selling one pop for $3. And we constantly were getting people saying that to us, like, I can go to the store and buy a whole pop, a whole box of red dye #2 and whatever for $3, and y'all selling a pop for $3. And we quickly realized that we could run a business where we're constantly fighting against people with our pricing, or we would have to move into a target market and get a better understanding of our target market and find premium value buyers that understood gourmet at the time, organic ingredients, fresh ingredients, and knew that if they wanted healthier products for themselves and what they were putting into their body and their kids' body, and if they wanted an experience and all these things, they had to pay for it. And it required a premium price. And so a whole box of pops from us was $30. And if it was alcohol pops, it was like $40 to $50 for a box of 12, but they knew it was a premium experience that they weren't going to get anywhere else, right? And so reaching and finding more high value and premium clients and reevaluating your target market along the process is what you need to do. And if you do that, right, stop finding clients that cannot pay you, right? People that, what does it say? People that pay a little attention, and people that pay a lot of attention. But they also cause less friction for you and your business, and the sales process for you gets so much smoother. And so upgrading the type of client and customers that you are attracting into your business will also drastically increase your income. All right. And then the last part is stimulate, right? And so stimulate them to buy more frequently and repeatable business. And that could be a few different things, right? The best way for me to explain that is like Netflixing your business. How can you bring a client in once, and they're every single month, every week, they're constantly having to re-up your business? And if you have a subscription business, this is what you're already doing. But a lot of people that have service businesses and even product businesses aren't fully understanding that. And so part of this is increasing the lifetime value of that customer. But the other part of this is, where can you add a repeatable process into your business so that that customer is constantly buying from you over and over and over again? For some of you that have product businesses, take maybe like I'll go back to it like a shampoo business. Does it make sense to sell the person this big bottle of shampoo where, like, if they have hair like me, this bottle could last them a whole year? Or does it make sense to buy and sell smaller sizes? And so every 3 months they have to come back to you to buy the product. Now you have a kind of like a Netflixing of your business. You're stimulating more frequency in them buying from you over and over again. If you are in a service business, do you have, is there an app that you can build so that you're dripping content to them, you're dripping the service? I had built an app a while ago for helping people get speaking leads, right? And that's something that I could have delivered as a list, like an exhaustive list of like, here are all the things for the year. Or did it make more sense to put it into a container, right, that could be protected and couldn't be shared all over the place like a spreadsheet? And every month we would deliver it to them. What did that do? It kept people in my monthly membership program and my mastermind program, because they could not get access to that anywhere else but being a part of the program. And if they didn't necessarily need other parts of the program, they needed that because it was solving a really massive problem for them, right? And so how can you Netflix your business? How can you implement any part of the Genius framework? And so generate, elevate, nurture, increase, upgrade, and then stimulate. And if you can do any one of those things, you will drastically take your genius and be able to build income with what you're doing into your startup and into your business. But if you can incorporate and more than anything, start working on integrating all 5 aspects of that, really kind of 6 aspects of that, then you're really, really on to something. And so I got to go, y'all. I'm going to save this so that y'all can come back to it. I went through a lot. I can do a deep dive on some of this other stuff later. But then also y'all check out the Monetize Your Genius Challenge.com as well, so that you can go on a deep dive with me and I can really work through your business on this. And I'm excited to be teaching again, because I haven't taught anything in that frame in a while, but I will be back. I will save this so you have it, and then definitely check out the Monetize Your Genius Challenge as well. Bye, y'all.